Save the bales. Classic weed shirts. Um, we're going to talk about a story that hasn't been getting a whole lot of attention, and that would be the California wildfires. Um, I'm not sure exactly how much attention the California wildfires is getting on, say, mainstream media, because I don't have cable, I don't watch CNN and all that crap. They probably have some kind of thing in the corner of the screen with a fire burning all day or something. I don't know. I don't like the way they handle these kind of situations, but I do like when they get covered and talked about, so I can kind of stay informed and you know what's going on. Currently, what's going on is a just devastating situation beyond anyone's imagination, as California marijuana farms are just going up in smoke. The situation is fucked up, guys. I'm warning you right now. If you didn't know about this, you're about to find out about some really fucked up shit. It's going to rip some tears out because this is bad. This is really fucking bad. So there's a lot to cover, so I'm just going to go right in and start reading because there's a lot to read. We go to Mendocino County, where deadly wildfires in Northern California are burning up marijuana farms in the so-called Emerald Triangle. Blazes have destroyed a number of farms in Mendocino County right before legal recreational sales begin in California. Cannabis business owners who lose their crops have little reprieve. Quote, "Nobody right now has insurance," said Nikki Lestrato, secretary of the Mendocino Cannabis Industry Association. They might have insurance on their house, but not on their crop. Cannabis cultivators cannot insure their businesses because federal law prohibits marijuana, which means the financial institutions can't go near it. Insurance companies won't go near it. Derek Peterson, CEO of TerraTech, which grows and sells marijuana in California, estimates the farmers typically invest upwards of $5 million in their facilities and as much as $3 million on growing the crop itself. Quote, "If their facilities burn down, a lot of these people won't be able to get any economic relief for them from an insurance claim," Peterson said. "There's no such mechanism for recovery to repay them for their loss. It's a tremendous risk for these people." Josh Drayton, spokesman for the California Cannabis Industry Association, said it's too early to tell just how many of the state's estimated 10,000 to 15,000 marijuana farms have burned down. He expects the devastation is going to be larger than anybody would hope it to be. I mean, excuse me, but we would hope that not even one farm would burn down without any kind of, monetary reprieve. This is people's livelihoods here. Quote, "A lot of plants have been lost in the fire, especially in Sonoma County," she said. "In southern Mendocino County, there are farms burning right now." The 22 wildfires currently raging through California have killed 23 people, with hundreds missing and burning. Slow down. With hundreds missing and burned 170,000 acres, along with thousands of homes and businesses. So that's what I mean right there. Is all day I've been seeing shit on Twitter about Trump and this and that, and a lot of it seems like a bunch of rehashed bickering and just distraction type shit. Of course, there's like a myriad of people still talking about the Las Vegas shooting, and Puerto Rico's still very much on people's minds, as we see lots of stories still coming out of that situation. But somewhere you got to squeeze in the fact that there's 23 people dead and hundreds missing, and we're almost to the 250,000 acre mark with loss of property and acreage. Seasonal wildfires have gotten worse in California in recent years, and this isn't the first time pot farms have gone up in smoke. Quote, "It's very typical that in fires in Northern California that there could be marijuana farms burned up," said Stan Floria, Fire Information Officer for the U.S. Fire Service, which has 1,500 firefighters deployed in California. Though he noted that any pot farms located on federal land are illegal. Governor Jerry Brown has declared a state of emergency in 8 counties, including the wine-producing counties of Napa, Sonoma, and Mendocino. The overlaps with some of the cannabis-producing Emerald Triangle, which include Mendocino, but also Trinity and Humboldt counties, which are largely spared from fires. But the wildfires are unlikely to have a significant impact on the state's overall supply when retail opens up, said Peterson, because there are so many other farms scattered around the state. Here comes the fire at the worst possible time for them, said Peterson. I have a lot of friends who are really troubled right now. All right, that's the first story I seen out of CBS 6. And yeah, that was when I first woke up today. I caught that one. So I didn't check any updates today on the death toll, if it's risen or not, but judging by some of the stories I'm hearing, I'm thinking it's probably going to go up. All right, here's another story coming out of this tragic storm of fire that's going on, and it would be SubCool from TGA Genetics, who I just bought some seeds from at the Cannabis Cup a few weeks ago. Actually, yeah, I bought those at the first Cannabis Cup earlier this year, but nonetheless, Crazy Train is still going, and I think maybe Quirkle. I'm not sure. Anyway, the story here highlights 2 different people that were affected by this, which I find kind of interesting. The first person is a black market grower. So, Northern California wildfires decimate SubCool and the region's other marijuana growers. For Mendocino County black market marijuana grower, RT, they're going to call them, the devastating wildfires consuming California from Orange County to Mendocino and Butte counties couldn't have come at a worse time. His outdoor marijuana crop near Redwood Valley, planted in a terrace pattern on a hillside along with a hut, his water tank, irrigation tubing, vehicles, guns, fertilizers, some clothing, and perhaps most heartbreakingly, even his dog are all gone. Given that RT was likely to harvest 2 pounds of bud per plant at a wholesale price of about $1,500 per pound, the destructive force of the fire to his 37 plants means a potential uninsured income loss of around $111,000. Damn. Harvest time was here. The fire raced in from the east. It was at night. I couldn't tell how far away or in what direction. By the time I realized it was headed up my hill, it was too late to do anything other than to run for my life, he recalls. He had time to save nothing and no one. He ran for his life until he came to a creek that he jumped into, and that's where he stayed until he saw the flames churn with the wind and go the other way. It's lucky. RT says it's the loss of his dog that hurts the most, worse than his 37 large cannabis plants that were partially harvested or soon to be ready for harvest. Down the road, some people died. I can't think of anything other than my dog being on fire and needing me there for her, but I wasn't there. She was scared of the smoke. She ran away the wrong way. A wall of fire caught her. Sad. Okay. So there was as many as 500 people missing. And remember, 23 people reported death toll at the time of this article being written. And again, this was written in the morning on this day, which is the 12th of October, 2017. In case this happens again next year, which is probably guaranteed to. 3,500 homes and structures destroyed, 180,000 acres consumed by the flames. And most of these wildfires, they're not even close to being contained. We'll see some numbers in a little bit. The mainstream media has not been focusing mostly on fires in Northern California involving the ravaged city of Santa Rosa and a famed wine country tourist destination of Napa Valley. So, of course, they're leaving the Emerald Triangle out of the headlines there. And that's what I would guess. That's why Like, I'm not trying to turn on some TV to find out about this shit. Right, but the media has largely ignored fires in other counties such as Butte, Mendocino, Yuba, and San Luis Obispo. Murdering these names, guys, because I'm from out east. A marijuana activist and grower who lives in hard-hit Sonoma County, where Santa Rosa is located, said he's personally aware of at least 5 grow houses completely incinerated by fires that burn entire neighborhoods to the ground. Quote, "This was a firestorm. The wind itself was fire," said the grower, who spoke on the condition of anonymity. Quote, "Sonoma is known as a major producer of indoor and outdoor cannabis. Based on the number of growers I know personally and the reach of these fires, I estimated we lost at least $35 million worth of marijuana and marijuana growing structures and supplies already." The grower said he's heard at least one report of law enforcement called in where the fire officials found evidence of a grow op in a burned out structure. And here we're going to watch a little video clip of a helicopter flying over Santa Rosa. That's people's farms and people's houses. A lot of it is incinerated already to ash, and some of it is just coal burning because everything's already been burnt down. And then there's still the active fire, and there's actually a wall of fire coming up over here. See? Yeah, that's a lot of structures, a lot of people's houses, a lot of businesses. The path are already engulfed in these fires. Unbelievable. Okay, so cannabis seed breeder and weed nerd YouTube star SubCool, whose company TGA Genetics is known worldwide for unique potent cannabis strains, is one of the unlucky Northern California residents who saw everything he built, dreamed of, and worked hard for suddenly go up in smoke. "I had to run through the flames with my dog Toke to escape with my life," SubCool says. "I lost everything else. Rare cuts such as the Pinot Noir are gone. Male plants are gone. My beautiful outdoor garden is gone." Whoo, it's so hard to believe. SubCool, who suffers from a genetic form of emphysema known as chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, has seen his periodic doses of life-saving medicine interrupted. He lost his custom-built home and everything in it, but it has since been provided refuge by his breeder friends at North Star Genetics. Quote, "The first day after the fire and the escape from it, I was in a state of shock, like that adrenaline rush you get after an accident. I had this goofy smile even as I said to people, I lost everything. And I know how that feels. I didn't lose everything, and especially like my actual house and shit. But, you know, I know that feeling of shock where you don't even really realize what's going on. You just see the pictures of it all in your head, and you're just like, oh, yeah, I just lost everything. Like, what else are you going to do, you know? You're either going to laugh about it or you're going to cry about it. And neither of them's really all that helpful, but laughing about it's probably the better way to come back to reality. Quote, "The magnitude of it didn't really hit me until I was back at my burnt down property and reached up where there used to be a shelf that had pictures of me and my wife and a jar of the new strain of seeds called Mendo Dope. Everything just crumbled away. Everything was ashes. It was then that the shock wore off and the grief came on." I've read this twice, maybe before this just now, and I still don't know if I can really make a clear decision as to whether he meant that the jar of Mendo Dope is gone, or he had it, like he found it there. Anyway, like many growers, SubCool is now struggling to pick up the pieces. He feels grateful and lucky that other cannabis breeders who work under the TGA umbrella have cuts or seeds of some of the core genetics, such as Romulan or Space Dude, that form much of the TGA seeds repertoire. Quote, we can reconstitute some strains even though it will take a while. The resellers have most of our strains in their inventory, but I don't know how long that'll last. We lost the beloved Pinot Noir forever, he admits. One note of hope amid the disaster sadness is that some of SubCool's associates who have cannabis processing and extracting gear are offering help in attempting to salvage concentrates from buds that haven't been totally destroyed, but rather have been contaminated by smoke. SubCool explains that cannabinoids and terpenoids evaporate or chemically degrade when buds are subjected to extreme heat, but buds that weren't subjected to open flame or heat extremes can be processed by extractors to salvage at least some THC and CBD. Quote, you can't use terpenoids because they'll have a smoky taste, he says. People are making jokes about buds contaminated by smoke, calling that weed campfire OG. Before these fires flared, SubCool had already planned to temporarily relocate and start a new venture further afield in Arizona after he harvested, dried, and cured his now incinerated 2017 outdoor crop. He's been opening a greenhouse with 7,700 square feet of floor space in Phoenix, where his crew will plant 500 Jesus OG Kush seeds. The seeds will be grown under watchful eye of social media so that the Weed Nerd Nation can weigh in on their favorite phenotypes. The winning phenotype will be tested genetically and for cannabinoid and terpenoid profiles. The most impressive phenotypes will then be certified as an official SubCool variant before being sold as clones and whole bud. This process of phenotype genetics and lab profile testing, selection, and certification is the first of its kind as far as SubCool knows. However, now that he's lost his NorCal home, SubCool anticipates moving to Arizona sooner than expected. Quote, I guess I could put a trailer on my ash-covered North California land and live in a trailer or tent, he says, but I don't think I could stand the ghosts. I couldn't stand to wake up every day and see the dead zone where my home, garden, and beautiful trees used to be. Unbelievable. Here we have a social media collection over at Green State of some of the damage that we've seen on these marijuana crops. Here's what mature plants look like after they've been singed by hot air and smoke and in some cases just burned. Right here we have, oh man, looks like a greenhouse just smoked. Mendo dope. Wow, he couldn't get home because the roads were all closed. One of the mountains by our house is the one that's burning. Just total devastation. That was the Santa Rosa fire. I don't believe in God, in any God, but pray anyway. Man. Yep. God didn't help anybody there. This is not Fun Farm. It's a Redwood Complex fire. That's what it looks like. That's the sun right there. Oh man, he knows his how. That's his the Weed Nerd 420 right here. Here's this tweet. He says, well, I think this is Instagram, but anyway, this is about as bad as it gets. I'm actually down in a town now, and I'm pretty sure my house is gone. It blew past about 15 miles, but now the town of Santa Rosa is now on fire, and the entire town is being evacuated. I just got a call from Mendo Dope. They're also being evacuated. Napa is being evacuated, so basically we're on fire. So this fire is one road up from Mendo Dope. Unbelievable. All right, here's a little story here. SubCool would not come when they were leaving, and the flames were soaring in the air. He yelled, "Come get me, here I am." They stopped a sheriff and told him that he would not evacuate and gave the address. Hopefully they will force him out. Update, we are all safe. I sent the sheriff to make sure Sub got out. He was with us at the hotel last night. Toke Dog and Kinky Cat are with us safe. We assume our home is gone. The fire soared past our home and went miles to jump a freeway. Napa, Calistoga, Santa Rosa, Coddington, Napa, Sonoma, Mendo County are evacuating and in a state of emergency. That was 3 days ago. So I was a little late to the party here, guys, if y'all knew about this already. Sometimes I'm a little slow. But yeah, I just started seeing these fundraisers. So here's the fundraiser for SubCool. And rather than, I'm not just going to have a link to just this. Sorry about that. In fact, I have several links, but they're going to be in this article right here at the bottom. These are all links. Like here's the SubCool link right there. I don't know what just happened. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, you get the picture. I'm going to put the link to this article down below, and then if you want to donate to any of these causes, I'm about to read this so you'll know exactly what what they're trying to do with these various fundraisers. Cannabis industry rallies for California wildfire relief. As wildfires continue to roar through Northern California with red flag conditions expected to last through Thursday morning, efforts are already underway to support the numerous farmers decimated in the middle of the 2017 outdoor cannabis harvest and the wider community. As of Wednesday morning, 22 fires continue to burn. Okay, we already had the numbers. While many in the thick of it are still have their bags packed ready to go at a moment's notice, others in the community have begun funds to support a variety of people and pets impacted so far. The California Growers Association has started a wildfires relief fund to support its membership, which can be found here. And that's also down here. Earlier in the week, CGA Director Hezekiah Allen told us more than 24 CGA members had lost their entire farms in blazes burning near Santa Rosa, Redwood Valley, and beyond. Quote, "This is going to leave a deep scar," Allen said. Amanda Raymond, outreach coordinator for the Flocana, has spent the last couple days with a river separating her from the flames of the Mendo Lake Complex fire. Up here we have the Community Foundation of Mendocino County collecting donations, she told Green State. Riemann also noted Rainbow Ag in Ukiah is taking monetary donations for supplies for the animals that have been evacuated. People can call them at this number, and I will I'll take this whole paragraph here and put that in the description. Other folks in Mendocino have also been circulating this fund meant to help the victims of the Redwood Valley and Potter Valley fires. Like I said, this whole article will be linked, so you can find these links in the article. Cultivators in the hardest hit area of Sonoma County are trying to get organized, but also have to be ready to leave quickly if need be. Quote, "We're preparing to host an emergency relief meeting to find out who in the cannabis community has been impacted by the fires and what best support they will need. said Tawny Logan of the Sonoma County Growers Association. Quote, what we know so far is that at least 20 farms have been destroyed pre-harvest and 15 home state with home grows, said Logan. We want to make sure that the monies we receive make the most impact and distribute effectively to these families. Because they're in the thick of it with backpacked for the possible emergency evacuation, relief effort coordination is slower to mobilize at ground zero, according to Logan. Quote, we should have a charity fund for donations set up by next Monday. Logan said this will give them time to give real feedback to greater community on the lives impacted and support efforts received, and all who have lost their homes, farms, and cannabis businesses to the fires across California should email CGA their loss report at and needs at wildfires@calgrowers.org. So, I'm going to put that whole paragraph there too. Just for quick links. And then, like, if you want to go to one of these specific places to donate specific, money to a specific cause, the link for this article will be in the description below. So there's these community funds: California Growers Wildlife Relief Fund, Community Foundation of Mendocino County Disaster Fund, U Caring Redwood and Powder Valley Fire Fund, United Way of Wine County, Napa Valley Community Disaster Relief Fund, Redwood Credit Union, North Bay Relief Fund. And then there's GoFundMe's for Canna Farm Support Fund, SubCool Support Fund, Napa Sonoma General Relief Fund, Evan Trotter Woodworks Rebuild. And then here's a full list of California GoFundMe relief effort pages. Collections, California Food Banks. Cash collections are being done by CBCB at Berkeley and Phytology in Oakland. Kind Peoples in Santa Cruz will be collecting needed items which will be transported north to relief centers. Please donate clean blankets, towels, toiletries, non-perishable food items, and pet supplies to Kind People's locations at 3600 Soquel Avenue and 140 Dubose in Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz Labs is also accepting donations in Santa Cruz. This will all be in the link. So this story, cannabis industry rallies for California wildfire relief. That's the one. And finally, San Francisco Gate. You might have noticed all the other stories I read were from cannabis publications or whatever. There's 90 images here. Wow. Some unbelievable shit. That looks like a wine producing facility and farm. Could be cannabis there. Probably wine. Unbelievable. There is descriptions down here, and I'm just kind of flipping through them real quick. Didn't even notice that until just now. Huh. So yeah, there's a lot of pictures available here and on the internet. This article from San Francisco Gate. And you know what? I'll go ahead and put that one on there too. Why not? We'll put that one. Yeah, we'll put that last. So that's the one with the pictures. I'll put that. I'll make sure you know. California marijuana growers north of San Francisco are faced another day of wildfire threats, as well as the likelihood, or as likely hundreds of millions of dollars in crop damage and loss. Ezekiel Allen, executive director of California Growers Association, said the fires in Sonoma and Mendocino counties have caused the worst year on record for California growers. Several dozen CGA members have lost their entire farms in the blazes burning near Santa Rosa, Redwood Valley, and beyond. This is going to leave a deep scar. I think, most of this text we already had. So, we've read all this. Here's another little tidbit. Award-winning extract maker Matt Rise also reported losing his Sonoma County ranch in blazes there. Another farm, Sonoma County Cannabis Company, sustained major losses according to multiple reports. Quote, "There are no words right now to describe the loss, the heartbreak, and the trauma that our beloved home and community is going through." The company posted to its Instagram account, quote, "We are trying to save what we can." Major Santa Rosa cannabis manufacturer Cannabis closed its 110-employee business Monday, but reported Tuesday with a skeleton crew working amid awful air quality, said spokesman Kyle Long. All employees are accounted for, but losses have been felt company-wide. Quote, "We have no employees that were not impacted in some way or another," Long said. A lot of family, a lot of friends, and a few employees did lose their homes. Cannabis plans to give away $40,000 worth of medicine to affected patients, donate a portion of sales proceeds to the benefit Red Cross relief efforts in the area, and is turning its Santa Rosa facility into an evacuation center for the weekend. Although many operators are still in danger, relief efforts have begun across the state. Chief among them, the California Growers Association is coordinating donations to Mendocino County Relief. Farmers across the state report harvesting the last of their crops in a panic. Some were attempting to move the freshly cut flowers out of the smoke-choked regions. Finally, white ash from the fires continue to blanket the wider Bay Area Thursday, and air quality has been impacted as far as Santa Cruz. Beyond picking up the smell of fires, smoke-exposed crops are more susceptible to disease, including unhealthy levels of mold, mildew, and fungus. Farmers will not know the extent of smoke damage until after the harvest season, which runs through October. California is America's leading domestic producer of cannabis, growing an estimated 13 million pounds per year. 4 out of 5 of those pounds of pot is shipped out of state, researchers estimate. That's that 11 million pound problem we talked about the other day. Much of that pot is grown outdoors and is planted in the spring and harvested in the fall. Northern California harbors the world's largest concentration of cannabis farms in the remote forested mountainsides of Trinity, Humboldt, and Mendocino counties. Further south in Sonoma County, where the Tubbs fire is burning, many commercial, medical, and soon-to-be recreational as well as personal cannabis farms also exist, along with ancillary businesses. Allen said Sonoma County's location makes it a magnet for cannabis commerce. An acre of cannabis is worth an estimated $1.7 million. It's located right there between 3 counties where so much of our product comes from, and its proximity to the Bay Area makes it a huge marketplace with a lot of processing and manufacturing, just a huge industrial leader in general. Santa Rosa has emerged as the epicenter of the modern legal pot economy in California, said Logan, and the devastation there would be analogous to the effects of a technology industry if a fire swept through Silicon Valley. Officials reported that the Tubbs fire in Santa Rosa had burned 34,270 acres and was 10% contained on Thursday. Fires came not only at the worst time of the year, but in the toughest year in decades, but the entire cannabis industry is in the process of seeking local and state licensing under legalization Proposition 64, Logan said. Many companies had spent tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars leasing warehouse space in Santa Rosa in order to get a license. Now those warehouses are gone and pot companies don't have insurance to cover the sunk costs, Logan said. Quote, folks are out their entire life savings over the last few years to get to this point, said Allen. There's no crop insurance, there's no FEMA aid coming to our growers. It's a pretty extreme situation out here. Small farmers with little savings stand to lose the most in these blazes, Drayton said. Quote, these are the people who have been out here for decades, the pioneers who have fought the federal government and the state government to get cannabis recognized as an agricultural product. And now, as we venture into what could possibly be the best financial situation for these operators, the adult use market, they're being totally cut out and all based on this destruction. North of Sonoma County, the Redwood Complex fire has burned 32,100 acres, and firefighters have 5% containment Thursday morning. Man, I wish I had new numbers on this. That's sad. That's like the fire's just getting started or what, man? The cannabis-rich Redwood Valley, 2 hours north of San Francisco, has been choked with smoke since Sunday night. Communications were down, and 3 were confirmed dead. Further loss of lives, homes, and livelihood are expected, and residents are tense because the situation can change any time, said Amanda Riemann, a Redwood Valley resident who is the outreach coordinator for the cannabis company Flow Canna. So many people have lost their livelihoods where they live. Here, people lost everything, homes and livelihoods, in one fell swoop, said Riemann. Quote, they're really the strongholds of some of the mom and pop craft growers, and those whole entire neighborhoods have been impacted. Imagine losing your home and every neighbor losing their home and farm. It's pretty stark reality, Allen said. Kristen Nevedal, director of the International Cannabis Farmers Association based further north in Garberville in Humboldt County, said she expected crop loss in Redwood Valley to be severe. Quote, there is not a lot of information coming out of Mendocino right now, Nevedal said. Quote, I don't think a lot of us know that the damage is unimaginable. I think it's going to take a while for the damage to truly be assessed. And in some cases, it's unfortunately rebuilding entire communities. Well, that's it. That's all I got on this. Horrible situation going on in California with 500 plus people missing, 23 people dead, almost 250,000 acres burned, over 3,000 properties, like structures, be them houses or be them buildings or businesses. Yeah, the destruction is unprecedented. That's a whole neighborhood just scorched right off the earth. The remains of the homes in Coffee Valley neighborhood are seen from the air in Santa Rosa, California on Tuesday, October 10th. And that fire is only 10% contained. People literally, in the middle of the night, in the middle of the day, whatever, stop what you're doing, go home and grab the kids and go. That was it. There was no like, hey, there's going to be a storm blowing through here in about 3 days. No, not even that. Not even a warning like a hurricane gets. Just, hey, guess what? Your house is going up. If you don't get out of it, you're going to die. Like SubCool. He literally stayed there until he realized, I got to get out of here or I'm going to die in my house. And he grabbed his dog and ran out. These are all chimneys from houses that are gone. All right. Yeah, people are displaced. There's a humanitarian effort hasn't even really been realized yet. Here's a Red Cross emergency center in Santa Rosa filling up with cots, and literally this is what people come in with. Nothing. They come in with a pet. If they're lucky and their pet survived, you know. We've heard several stories already of the pets not making it. Dozens of homes burned in Tubbs fire in Santa Rosa on Monday. Just crazy. Flames moved through the vineyards and as fast-moving wind whipped wildfire raged through the Napa-Sonoma wine region in Napa, California on the 9th of October. Multiple fire that erupted in Napa, Sonoma, Calistoga, and Santa Rosa area have burned homes and wineries. Mandatory evacuations have been the terrible English here. I don't understand what's going on with these captions, but they're talking about displacement of hundreds of residents throughout the area. Homes are seen burnt to the ground after a fire tore through the Journeys End Mobile Home Park on Mendocino Avenue in Santa Rosa on Monday. More refugees. Yeah, call them refugees, man. These people just lost everything. A lot of these people. Fire insurance, not a lot of people had it. Some people might have had it. This guy said he has lost everything he had. He's visiting from Malaysia, visiting tech worker. He was staying at the Hilton Hotel, lost everything. Unbelievable sights. Just terrible sights. And it's not over yet. It sounds like this, the fact that the fires are really bearing down into some of these, quite frankly, human populated areas. We're gonna see more headlines. So this might not be the end of the story over here on the Weed channel either. There might be more to the story than what I got today. So if there is, I'll bring it to you. And finally, after all that, we finally make it to this, which is a picture of some marijuana crops literally getting burned up. And of course, they're going to hit me with a commercial for doing that. Yeah, that's the only one I've seen. The last picture available on this article from the Bay. I'll leave you with that. It's one of the saddest stories I think I've done all throughout the time I've ran this channel. And if you can donate, if you are able to donate to a good cause, consider donating to any of the charities on the list of stuff that will be in that article. The article will be linked in the description below. If you like my channel, please subscribe. And if you, just subscribe, come back. There's more stories coming.